Good morning. Getting ready for another session of Pastry Chef Expansion Challenge. This is number 4. It's gonna be a good one. Grab your coffee, maybe some tea, paper and pens, pencil, whatever you use. Get ready, let's go. Coming up at the top of the hour, just about 10 minutes from now. Good morning. Just a couple more minutes here and wait to see if anyone else jumping on this early morning live session. PCEC session 4. Coming right up. Hang in there. Okay, good morning, here we go. You know what that music means. A little ominous, but yet catchy. And here we are for session 4, Pastry Chef Expansion Challenge. Welcome in, glad you could be here. Whether you're catching us live or on replay, it's perfectly fine. That's how it's structured. Watch it when you can, where you can. Put into it what you want to get out of it, and hopefully you'll get much more out of it. Yes. All right. Good morning. And again, welcome in, no matter where in the world you're watching. and on replay. As you know, these replays are up for weeks and you have access to everything. I know from speaking to most of you this week, it's been a long week, already a busy month as we head into the festive season, and we may or may not have time to attend to the notes, do the project work, do the homework as we had planned because, life happens, but that's okay. Don't let that discourage you. There's a reason you got involved with this, there's a reason that you want to work on yourself. So I want to applaud you in that and just realize that it's never too late. There's lots of time. You may be thinking too in your business or at work that it's already a couple weeks, 3 weeks away from Thanksgiving, and then the next holiday, and the year's over. Maybe I'll just wait till January 1 and I can start again. But I would encourage you not to do that, to do the opposite and just say every day is a new day, to do something different, to get it right, to get it better, to work on yourself, to work on myself first, to get those things right for us. If we don't show up for ourselves, really can't be able to show up for others or expect others to show up for us. So show up for yourself. And part of that is sessions like these, Pastry Chef Expansion Challenge. We have the other sessions going on with how to be your own publicist and more to come. So put a little investment in yourself. It will pay dividends. Before we get started, I want to, of course, thanks to some of our sponsors, brought to you in part by Vosges Chocolate, Prodotti Stella, IFI Gourmet, Chef Rubber, Nielsen Massey Vanilla, Blommer Chocolate, John Corner and Company, the Corner Company, and Barry Calabo, of course. So thank you very much for those contributions to help all of us in this industry, in the pastry world, continue to thrive. Although it's been a different year, we can make adjustments, we can change. So many of you that I talk to are doing great. In my consulting work, I get to talk to a lot of businesses, and I have that vantage point where I see many, many, many businesses are doing okay right now. Sure, they're putting it together differently, maybe week to week, but there is wins to be had. There is success to be had. I also see kind of the flip side of that where some businesses are struggling because their model just didn't match the way the world looks today. I mean, here in Chicago, we kind of, limited the access to restaurants again, and that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot of businesses. So don't wait. Again, in your business or the businesses that we work for, make sure we serve them well with fresh ideas, and don't just wait and see what happens in, March. I know some people have that wait and see, but I don't think even if things get better, they'll get better. They'll be different. So remember that as we move along. It's never too late, and today is the day. Let's take a look at what we'll be covering for this session about promotion, being comfortable promoting ourselves, ninja promotion. Pastry chefs are artisans, of course, but sellers too. And then campaign, how to launch your campaign. We'll look at that homework from last week, see where we are with our campaigns, and kind of pencil something in and get that scheduled, get it planned. Services, added value through additional services. And this doesn't matter if you own your business or you're working for someone else. How do we add value for future success? Commerce, just the art of transaction and what that is. Take home, a little more take home. We're going to launch that brand campaign or get closer anyway. And hopefully we've shot some video or we're able to take some nice high quality photos, but we'll look at that a little bit. And some new ideas in the workbook. And then new menus and other workbook activity. Before we get started with all of that, I want to do a nice little review of last week. I know lots of people are catching up, and it's important to kind of cover these. So if you jumped into this and didn't finish 3, we did talk about last week platform creation, creating a home where you and your brand can live. So other than just your business and the customers, clients, we all know the difference between a customer and a client, right? A customer is someone that buys something once from you, and the client is someone that consistently is a raving fan for your business. So we want to create those raving fans out of our consumer base, and platforms are a good way to do that. So creating an event, a another partnership, a collaboration, maybe a way to share those stories and those things that motivate you to do what you do really will help in this whole platform creation, commerce, and sales that we're going to talk about a little bit more today. And then we talked about social, and we asked, challenge to clean up all our social in terms of consistency. We saw that, where these things weigh in, even though we may not personally use Facebook as much anymore, and, we're not clear of how productive LinkedIn can be. We see the numbers here that all of these are very productive for us, and to consistently post and consistently have a message when potential customers, viewers get to our social channels, that it takes us somewhere. There's a call to action, that our stories have a beginning, a middle, and the end. We talked about the differences in channels and how to use each one differently, not just to run it off of one, but to kind of approach each of those as a different audience. And talked about creating a social media calendar to kind of guide us through the week, whether we post 2 times a week, 3 times a week, or every day. Talked about the importance and lasting ability of high quality images. So take that extra time. Almost 100% of the chefs I speak with have a high quality camera. So keep that nearby. Set up mini photo shoots for yourself during the week, but keep accumulating those images that you can help tell your story through. So when you go to post, you have something. And we delved into a little bit what a high resolution image is and why that's important. Somewhat obvious, but make sure those settings on our cameras are the highest quality as well. And we saw Steven Universe here and talked about our stories as every chef's universe, and what engaging stories are like, or what great stories are like, and how they're relatable, believable, inspiring. We know those when we see them. Just make sure we're creating those for others. And then we did a little homework here. So I'm going to make sure, if you haven't filled this out, find something to focus on. Should be easy with the holiday coming up. Maybe it's a special, maybe it's a sale, maybe it's something, an event. It can be a couple of different things. But make sure to connect them in some way, so that call to action, we're all going to the same source, whether that's the website of the business, the store of the business, the ability to capture and be productive comes from connecting everything. And our first ability to connect those and make sales, yeah, it's just really exciting. That's all I can say. When you see that it really works, there's just a certain excitement involved there. No matter what you do, make sure you do it with excitement and energy. Moving on to Ninja Promotion. So what is Ninja Promotion? Pastry chefs, I think we're uniquely positioned to build, platforms and sell products through storytelling. Everyone's really interested in what a pastry chef does, and things that we take for granted, that we do during the week, are interesting to others outside of our industry. So Ninja Promotion is really building the relationships, listening to our customer. There's kind of 4 principles. I'm going to put these up here for everyone to take a look at. Bear with me 1 second as I pull up the screen here. First one up, personal mastery. When you get better, your business gets better. And second one would be, stop selling, start creating value. And the third one would be your business strategy, focus on people in your network. And then the last one, I'm going to slide it up here on the screen, connect and communicate, because it's all about them, right? It's all about creating, like we talked about, those stark raving fans, those clients, those people that really make it possible for us to do the things that we do. So if you break these down into what we were talking about in the social, that means, you're not the person that comes to the party and just says, "Hey, I have stuff to sell. Who wants to buy my stuff?" But often our advertising comes across that way, like, here's a link to my store, here's the things we have on sale. People come in live. A lot of things we're relying on virtual, and it often becomes just this laundry list of things that we sell or do, and it's hard. You don't even have that face to face often to kind of be a good salesperson or have your frontline staff develop those personal relationships that lead to sales. So if you think about the personal mastery, being someone who is respectable in the business, how many small businesses do we know that when the owner proprietor isn't back there, we're less interested in going, right? It's not that their employees aren't good or great. If they do a good job, their employees will start to model, after these type of owners. But in general, we like to see the chef back there, right? We like to see that person. So by being available, setting that example when you are there, or using the channels we're talking about, going on live and being able to develop that relationship. So like we say, number two, stop selling and start creating value. Don't worry about the sales so much. Worry about what we're offering, how we're serving that customer, and the ability to face to face or go live and tell a story expresses that better than just the fact that we have goods to sell, that we have services to sell. In terms of business strategy and focusing on people in your network, that's where ninja promotion really comes into play. When we're getting leads on Instagram, when we're getting leads on other social, again, we want to cozy up to people and get to know them. If you have a friend suggestion and then that looks like a good person to have in your network, always send a message. When someone, likes something of yours that you post, send them a message back, say, "Hey, thanks for the follow, thanks for the like, I saw your page, looks really good too," and slowly start to connect that. And in terms of tracking that, I think you need to get systematic. You need to set aside a time a day, 30 minutes or so. And I know it's really hard, but again, if we found out, if I guaranteed you that it'd be productive for 30 minutes a day to post, go on any of your channels or all of your channels, send a message to people, and write that down, and then follow up with them a week later and on another subject to build a relationship, right? This is kind of like going to the party and talking to people and talking to someone else, maybe come back and circle back later and talk, and then go to another event or party, see the same person and talk to them. We really want to recreate that in the social channels. So that's a good business strategy, focusing on the people. And then knowing your audience. We talk about a lot this in the publicity class, knowing your audience, knowing your audience. And it could be several groups of audience, but really know who you're talking to. And when you do those lives, or where you do have a chance to talk to a group, a small group, or, face to face with someone, picture really that you're talking to someone like your best friend, someone that really gets you, that understands the things you're saying, that's not focused on, did you misspeak, did you say a word wrong. They really want to hear what you have to say. Well, most people really are pretty forgiving of some of those, miscues when you're speaking, or, we all get stuck a little bit, but it's the intention, the story, the again, that personal mastery. If you have good life habits, you're dedicated to your business, you're sincere in what you're offering, that really comes across when you talk, and that in itself is a good business strategy. And then connect and communicate. Again, figure out the audience, connect with them any way you can. It is more difficult. We're not out in public all the time. We don't always have, the time to see people face to face. We don't have large group gatherings, all those things. We can't let that get in the way. Okay, we can't. So use some ninja promotion and cozy up to your audience, communicate on a regular basis, and build those relationships. Now, we talked about campaigns and how to launch. I put up here a recent campaign of mine, a little sample of what I did that kind of worked well. We have the story, and just the brief message was, I've got these virtual classes for pastry chefs, and I have specific dates, and then I had a plated dessert and a publicist class that I added, and what those dates were. But then the channels I picked them. We're going to do Instagram on one day, Twitter on another day, and then another Instagram post on the other subject, all relating to the focus virtual pastry chef classes, but distinctly different. And then channel B, short video, LinkedIn, something, really for the industry, and then a Facebook Live. And then you see here the call to action for all of those is, visit the website, register for the classes. It's pretty straightforward. And yeah, I want people to register for the classes, and that's important. I'm doing these, you know, part of my business is for businesses, business to business, building menus, helping with workflow, coaching and training their staff. But the other half is really to coach, train, and give back to pastry chefs. And especially in the restaurant industry, pastry chefs, it's something that's just needed right now. So, yeah, I want people to sign up for the classes, but I want to offer them something, and I want to make sure they know that it's a value and give them an idea of what they're going to get. So, likewise, in your business, use this campaign to explain a bit more. Think about it. In our businesses, we get what we're doing. And sometimes, we're shy to like say the same thing over and over to what we think is the same people. But in actuality, we talked about having, know your audience, having several audiences, maybe, or a broad audience, sometimes several specific audiences of people we know like what we do, or past clients. How often have we reached out to our past customers and clients and said, hey, just want to see how you're doing. We know there's three really good ways to grow our business, right? So, and this is important. So listen, the three really good ways, have our customers buy maybe 30% more than they were, have our customers buy something new, maybe 30% more new things, or get 30% new customers. So if you have 10, trying to get 13, 14 customers. If you've got 100, you see where the numbers lie. This one, two, three, those things, there's not many other ways to grow the business. So instead of saying, well, I'm going to grow it with new customers, really suggest you grow in all three ways. But people that have used your service, they know how to interact with you. They may have had success in the past with things, or really liked what you did and just kind of moved on. Give them a reason to come back. Give them an irresistible offer. Launch a campaign where there's consistency and familiarity. This is a 3-day campaign that we're all launching, and I'll put one together too, and I'll launch right along with you. Shoot some video or go live. We're going to get into the video segment shortly here, a little bonus primer on editing video. But however you do it, it's that consistency, that messaging. I mean, you're living your life and you're doing all these things. Be comfortable, get comfortable in a business sense doing these for social media channels, because, it's a couple minutes here and there and a glimpse into things that people want to see. But remember, you get used to your story, but others, we're so inundated with so much media. Others need to hear it a few times, post at different times of day. Sometimes we put a post, it's out there, we're done. But the way a lot of social channels work, we know things just get buried. And, if you look at the engagement, maybe only 5-10% of all your followers even see or like or engage with a post. So as we're seeking to get that message across, just don't get tired of your message. It's easy because in your business, everybody knows, we talk about it. Share it and share it and share it and share it in different ways. We don't have to be monotone, but we do have to be consistent. Talking about non-linear editing, so I did want to do a little primer on video. Many of you have asked kind of what the best way to do that is and how to kind of pre-produce it and how just to get started at all versus just doing a live. So nonlinear editing, really that's most programs that you have now in your phone, anything you do online. It just allows you to take photos, video clips, music, audio, and rearrange it however you want without destroying what you initially did on the original shoot. So I'm gonna pull up here a screen so you can see. I'm gonna walk you through some of this. So this here is our screen in Premiere for the Pastry Summit video that I just made. I think right in the beginning of all this, maybe March or so. And you see there's a lot going on, and that can be intimidating for people. But you see down here is the timeline, and it marks off from 0 the video. I've got a little intro photo. We did this really quick for Pastry Arts Magazine, and really didn't want to or have a lot of finance to put into it. So we went ahead and put a still here, you see. So it's just a nice photo. Put a logo over the top, and kind of goes from there without having to do like a big intro. Nice music, and then drinking a cup of coffee. And you see it's layered here. So this timeline, and the top part, this half here is video, and this is audio. Now, there are a lot of programs you can use. Let me jump in here. You can use, iMovie. You can use Final Cut if there's still a version floating around that you like. You can use free versions of HitFilm. There's a lot of programs. If you're interested specifically in this area on our calls, let's talk about it a little bit and get you paired up with a program. We use Adobe software because for our work we're using it for Photoshop as well, Lightroom, and the composite abilities, Illustrator, things like that. So it may be worthwhile to get those for your business, or it may be better to start small, and perfectly fine just to go on your phone. You can post YouTube videos from your phone and build out your whole YouTube channel that way. Many people do. And if you set the standard to something achievable, it's easy to remain consistent with that. So if you're like, I'm just going to shoot, when you have all the possibilities in the world, sometimes it's too much. If you say, hey, I'm just shooting on a phone, the message is just about my goods and services and the story behind them, and I'm going to post once a week, and that's it. They're going to be 5-minute videos. They're going to be 3-minute videos, and that's it. Now you've made something that you can really be sure that you can recreate. If we go back to the timeline here, then you can see at the bottom is the audio, and I've got a couple channels of audio layers for the sound. And many of you may know me as a very active. Say we have the talking there. And then later on, again, not a lot of budget went into this, so I just dropped some stills that we layered in here. Still number 1, still number 2, still number 3, as we scrub through it. So when you scrub through, you were just reviewing those things. See, we have a preview pane here, and this video at the bottom for the timeline, you can shrink it so you can see that whole video at one time. I think this is about 15 minutes of video if you look at the clock there. And I wrapped up the same way we started with the music outro and the still here at the top. If you look to the left, you'll have what's called a media browser. So you're basically all this video, film footage, all this stills that you have, all the photos, anything that you could possibly want to put in, you can upload in here. And then you can preview those things and move that out of the way. You can look at your let's see, are we back? Are we back? Going live, going live. And looks like we're streaming live now. Okay. So a couple little technical issues, my apologies. But again, reach out to me on the call and we can go over any of your video questions. We're going to move on a little bit, get through the next couple topics. So value added is really important that whatever we have, people see that in comparison to someone else's business, there's something that you have that someone else doesn't have. And what would that be? What is that value add that makes it so people just have to have your businesses? So some things, pastry chefs in business can do to add that value. Let's talk about those. The educating, marketing of the story of the chef, of you, the educating and marketing of the quality of the products, what we're making or the service we're providing, the upgraded packaging or the customization of gifts, or maybe it's that special touch, just a little note, free delivery, free tax, or an additional free product. Those really compel people to kind of go over the edge. And again, they work on us all the time, but sometimes we're shy to put those into play. Just be smart, don't give away things that you can't, but know that that creates additional value. And perhaps you're working for somewhere else and you don't own your business. Some things that can add value is creating new revenue streams for the business with a new program, like it's timely right now, something to go, whether it's a cake program or something to pick up or a subscription. Document and share stories with the business, things that have been going on. Share with people in your business, share with each other, and share it to the public. And then develop individuals in the business to promote growth. And, we can share that story too. I used to work at a place that they would often say, this is a homegrown success story. This is a homegrown success story. And at first I was like, well, yeah, that's true. But then I thought about it. People that were the customer of the business were interested in that. So maybe inside we know people and, day to day, you don't see the growth, but, that's what all the employee of the month, this becomes so commonplace. It sort of seems dull, but it's interesting. And, if you're an employee, it's nice to get a nod, maybe come up with something more new and interesting than that. But think about the things from those lists, the value adds, educating people through storytelling, basically. How did we get there? What's the story of the chef? What's the story of the business? People don't get tired of that, really. Spend some time working on your story. You can update it from time to time and find fresh and new ways of reinventing what we're doing to get interest for people. In terms of commerce, the art of transaction. So following, we talked a little bit about ninja promotion or cozying up to customers, monetization, taking something that's a non-revenue item and turn it into cash. So if you are a consultant in pastry, this is key. You have to prove that service you're providing can be monetized. One good way to monetize things too is to bundle it. We kind of touched on that in the last slide, but bundling a service or two services or one product or two products, or making a kit a complete solution. So that art of transaction, by cozying up to people and focusing on getting to know the customers, you're going to identify what kind of kit to make, what kind of bundles appealing. Like if we're really smart, we're just listening to our customers and seeing what value we can get from them. We're not, so often we act like we're the customer of the business and we do things that appeal to us. Now, it's true. There's probably someone out there like you that, this does appeal to, just like you, has exact same preferences and exact same likes and well, who are we kidding? Almost nobody these days has the same preferences and likes and dislikes. So really listening to the customer. I'm often in the position of creating items and designing products for a business that's not mine. They brought me in as an outside consultant. I'm helping them with that. Their audience is someone they may know, or maybe I'm helping refine that. But it's a product that I personally don't find that appealing. Or there's aspects of it. I try to infuse something of quality in everything, some pastry quality in everything that we do. But often, if we're working for a retail market like a grocery store, there's a certain quality standard that might be lower than my personal standard. Or maybe it's a cost issue where we are trying to do the best quality item, create the best quality item at a value, and that's going to prevent certain choices. So still trying to hit that sweet spot of quality and what works for commerce. But if we don't listen to our customer, we don't listen to our clients, we're really not going to have successes in that area. Again, I think here at the bottom, this is a little exercise. List 3 services that we can monetize, 3 things we wouldn't think of. Is it, gift wrapping included? So it doesn't have immediate dollars, but it adds to more sales because now the perceived values are going to gift wrap that product for us. Is it an installation type service? Is it the ability after, the transaction has happened? Is it the ability to come back and get help if things go wrong, troubleshoot, or, we're all remove that fear of purchase if someone says, hey, money back guarantee, no questions asked, right? That's still powerful. The ability to say, hey, if you're not happy, that bothers us. We want you to be happy. And we have the confidence to say what we do has value. You're going to love it. So we're not that concerned about it. And sure, some people might take you up on that, but probably we're doing our job right. People will be happy and you probably won't return so many things. Let's move on to homework for next week. A little take home, launching your brand campaign. So again, finish up those charts and you can start posting if you're ready, or if you want to send copies of those over to me for our calls, we can take a look and kind of brush it off. Shoot some video, go live, do some uncomfortable things. Don't just make everything one post to Instagram. Kind of spread it out. Get back on Twitter if you haven't been in a while, and do some different things for this campaign. Get that word out. So finalizing your story, focusing on your call to action with the dates, get everything ready, launch it according to your plan. Maybe it's Thursday through Sunday, Thursday through, Friday through the weekend. Those are good times to launch. And then take notice of the performance. And, one of the best things right now is we have that data. We have the ability to look at these analytics and say, the marketplace speaks. If sometime you put up a post and maybe you put up a rush post, you don't think much about it, and you get like 50 reactions, 50 likes, you get pick up a couple followers, however it is on whatever channel you're on, it's not important. And you're like, oh man, I didn't even like that photo. I just did that in a hurry. And then you post other things that just don't perform that well, but they're things that you like to post, or they're easier for you to post. Really listen to the marketplace. If you're getting traction in one thing, just keep doing that thing. Now, pastry chefs, we get bored, right? And we like to do different things all the time. But that consistency, again, that product is new for the audience. That product's new for the customer. Just get used to saying the thing over and over, and maybe in different ways, and change it up. I'm not saying say the same thing 365 days a year, but I am saying that once isn't enough. When you have this kind of campaign that we're launching, what's helpful is you're at least doing for a few days, sharing for a few days, expressing the same story and message, and kind of, again, trying to build a platform, and your platform is rich and deserves the attention to all the stories and all the methodologies that you use. So just one post, really isn't enough. And then for further expansion here, we'll talk about stories, getting into the final week. Yeah, can you believe it? One more week, and we'll get into, all the things that will give us vitality, so that when we are able to do all this stuff, when we get there, we can still enjoy it. But what additional stories, and how can I use video? And again, we can delve into one-on-one, what your video needs are, what your photo needs are, and how to set all that up. And then, finally getting outside the comfort zone, creating 2 menu items that promote your brand, something new, something different that you haven't done before. That's kind of the challenge for next week. So again, in short, you made it through your whys. You've got some spots, some trajectory that we're headed toward. We burst through all those limiting beliefs and those boundaries. Now we're getting into publicizing what we have, kind of expanding that and growing it and the storytelling. And now we're getting the tools to broadcast it through social channels and through video. Remember, video is very, very powerful. People love to see those things come to life. Go do a live. I'm going to challenge you for that for the week. Do the homework. Reach out to me with any questions. I'll keep the chat open here. I appreciate each of you. Thanks for session 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming up next week. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Catch us on replay. Shout out to me if you need anything. Have a great, great afternoon.